Hello, everybody. Brian from Rebel Traders here. It is the weekend, April 19th. Hope everyone is having a good long weekend. And this, of course, is the weekend video. We'll take a look at what happened last week in this shortened trading week. And then we'll take a look ahead and see what we got coming up this week. It's going to be another interesting week. So let's get down to it. Okay, as we always do, let's start out by taking a quick look at what happened last week. Again, it was a shortened trading week, 4 days, Friday off. We still have that tariff uncertainty that's sort of hanging over the market as things keep changing. There was some talk about rolling back tariffs on autos while raising the potential for some tariffs on pharma products. They're looking at that now. So again, lots of uncertainty still. And then the White House started publicly criticizing Powell for not cutting rates and floating out the idea of replacing him, which I think has probably rattled the latest thing to rattle markets here, as that's seen as a little unsettling by a lot of people. Yields did drop a little bit last week, and economic data that came out is not really showing any sign of weakness yet. We had good reported retail sales, although those numbers could have been pulled ahead by some of the anticipatory buying before tariffs got put on. And unemployment claims still looking pretty decent here, not really spiking up. So on the week, the only index that actually finished in the green were the small caps, the IWM. Rest of the market, as you can see, finished down 1.5 to about 2.5% or so. And what was strongest? Real estate and utilities, some of the sort of safety haven trades, and also trades that do well during dropping interest rates. Consumer discretionary and technology. There was a lot of stuff going on in technology this week. So we had Netflix reporting on Thursday, good numbers. We've got regulatory concerns with Google and Alphabet. And we've got semiconductor concerns with export controls on NVIDIA and AMD. So kind of cutting some of their numbers. So technology really taking a hit on all that stuff going on with especially with the mag stocks. You can see here we did drop a little on the 2-year and the 10-year down a little bit, but still pretty elevated. US dollar behaving more like it should when the yields drop. US dollar drops a little bit. And Bitcoin, last I checked, it was around 85,000, but I think it's more like around 84.5 right now. And we'll take a look at that shortly. So that was your week in review, and there was a lot to unpack there. So just taking a pause here, as always, like to do a quick plug for my books that are available on Amazon. Of course, this is a swing traded video, and these are some of the strategies that I use for swing trading. I cover in these 2 books, How to Swing Trade and Profiting as an Active Trader, so you can check those out. And also I've got an options trading book, my latest book, came out and covers A to Z with options, and also some day trading options if you're interested, but swing trading, day trading, all the strategies that you can use to trade options. So they are available on Amazon in all 3 forms, hard copy, audio, and e-version. So check those out. And let's get back and take a look at some indexes. All right, so let's start looking at some of the indexes like we usually do. We'll start out with the treasuries, the 2-year. You can see we had this massive spike up previous week, and then last week we did pull back a little bit here from this 4% level on the 2-year. Again, big moves on the treasuries, which you don't normally see the treasuries moving around that much. But with the concern about tariffs, etc., we're getting a lot of moves one way or another here. The 10-year, again, same thing, kind of had a big, massive spike up week before, and now we had a bit of a pullback. This 4.5% level is an area that's very interesting, and we'll see if we can stay below it, or if there's continued concern about treasuries and demand for them. The interest rates may have to go up. So industrials, you can see here, Monday, Tuesday kind of didn't do much, but then Thursday, Friday started to break down again. So sort of a 50% retracement after this, a little bit less than a 50% retracement after this massive gap up the week before, or at least run up the week before here, this rip your face off rally. And now we're pulling back into sort of a 50% retracement. So I'd be watching to see where we go from here, but that's this area is should be support, and of course now we've got resistance up here as this moving averages start to descend. And that's again an area where I'd be watching for a breakout if we're going to start to get one as some of these tariff situations get resolved. You can see here the huge volume on a weekly volume last week, or week before I should say. And the Qs again, you know, kind of hang in there Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday gap down. And again, weak retracement of about 50% of this big move up here, and sort of have established this area as an area of resistance, and this down here sort of as an area of support. So again, we're kind of stuck in no man's land there, and waiting for some resolution one way or another. And same with the SPY. I'm not going to keep repeating myself here. We've got a downtrend line here. Could probably draw an uptrend line there, and we're sort of getting into narrowing into a trading range and looking for a break one way or another. So again, kind of sitting in no man's land here. IWM, again, we're kind of just chopping around here. You can see we're not really, we're in a range, and again, it performed a little bit better than the Qs and the SPY and the Dow last week. But IWM still very, very interest rate sensitive. So interest rates dropped a little last week, and so the IWM probably got some benefit from those lower rates, those rates coming down a bit. And you can see here the VIX. I mean, we had this massive spike up and then a big drop, and now we're back, coming back into an area where I'd be watching for support there. And the dollar again really sold off hard. And that was on the spike of interest rates. Again, I mentioned this last week, bit of an anomaly, a big anomaly actually. And here's your dollar. We're down into an area where it should see some support here. So again, keeping an eye on the dollar. And as far as Bitcoin goes, we're trading around this 85,000 level right now. So not much change over the weekend here, as we seem to be hanging in with Bitcoin somewhere in that 84,000 to 85,000 range seems to be where it's stuck right now. And that was sort of the indexes. And again, we're kind of stuck in a bit of a range here, waiting for a move one way or another. All right, so as far as active trades go, and I've already mentioned this in some of my previous week's videos, it has been really difficult to do swing trading just because we're in such a news-driven market right now. Every day could be a new bit of news that could change the complexion of the market one way or another. So it's been hard to swing anything other than really gold and silver have been on fire. And you can see here's GDX. I've got some gold and silver miners in some of my Canadian stocks as well, and GDX again, just they've been performing the same way, just ripping higher. And Thursday, Friday, we did get a little profit taking because we were just getting so overextended here. You can see the RSI up well up over 80, and you can see what happened last time we got up into this area here. We got a bit of a pullback consolidation. I still think there's probably room to run here because you did see a lot of volume here Friday, but again, I think gold's still looking pretty decent here. I am holding a little bit of PLTR just because it's performing fairly well. So we thought it was going to get to 100 on Tuesday and didn't quite make it. And then what did we get to? We got to 98.40. 98.99 was the high, so we almost got to 99 there, and I'm still holding out for 100 because I still think it's kind of hanging in there really well. You can see here we had the bigger sell-off Thursday, Friday, and PLTR kind of hanging on there. So still hopeful that we are going to get to that 100 level. And silver, I mentioned silver in the previous week's video. Thought it had an opportunity to move higher here, and it's catching up to a gold, and it looks pretty extended, but I still think there's lots of room to run here with silver, and I'm still holding some silver shares. So that's kind of where I'm sitting right now with my active swing trades. Okay, so as far as potentials for next week, again, the swing trading is going to be a bit of a challenge, but I'm going to take a look at a few things here. Apple, kind of like Apple, just because it's got this area here, this 210 area that looks like pretty significant. It was support here, and it looks like pretty significant resistance right here. So opportunity maybe to sell some upside calls, and maybe if you wanted to get some protection, maybe sell some, buy the 215s to protect yourself, or 220s. I'm going to look at that tomorrow, or next week, I should say, and just see if there's an opportunity to sell some calls there. And if you're not really sure how to do that, you can always check out my book on Amazon, again on the options trading. As far as BABA goes, I had mentioned maybe there was some opportunity there, but I think with the ongoing tariff situation, every day seems to bring more tariffs, as we got on the weekend here. But it does look like if there is some kind of resolution, this is probably going to rip to the upside. So I'll be watching for that if we do happen to get a resolution. Again, with all the stuff going on with the regulators, again, this is going to be an ongoing thing for a while here. So 160 looks like a pretty solid level again to sell some calls and collect some premium, because I think Alphabet's going to have some challenges going forward for a while. Netflix reported after the close on Thursday, and again, it traded up, and it's closed after hours about 1,006, I believe it was, somewhere up in this area. So I'm going to watch this one on Monday as well, and just see where it kind of tops out. There still will be a fair amount of implied volatility in some of the options, so it could be an opportunity to trade some options. Again, maybe sell these new all-time high options, and if you wanted to give some coverage, you could buy the higher strike options just in case it does go higher. But we'll be looking at that on Monday as well, possibly selling some upside calls once we get some topping action. But again, have to be careful on this, because it actually had some pretty decent earnings that we got on Thursday after the close. So again, a bit of a challenge to find anything that's really good. Just sticking with some gold and silver, and maybe looking at a few options trades for next week. Okay, so let's wrap things up and see what we got coming up this week, April 21st. Here's your levels on the Dow, Q, SPY, and IWM with support and resistance. As far as economic events go, we've got a few things going on. Consumer sentiment on Friday. We do have the Beige Book at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. That's the Fed's minutes. And we've got some economic indicators on Monday at 10 that could move the market a little bit here. And consumer sentiment, of course, as always, initial jobless claims on Thursday. As far as earnings go, we do have some interesting ones coming up. Nothing much on Monday, but Tuesday after the close, we can see here we've got Tesla, and we'll be doing a live YouTube show for that earnings report after the close. As we will be doing also on Thursday, we've got Alphabet after the close, and Intel. So we'll be watching those numbers live on YouTube as well. And we got some other interesting stuff. We've got Boeing. That'll be interesting. I saw an article about a brand new Boeing aircraft returning from China, where they refused to accept it. They are not buying any Boeing aircraft anymore. So sort of the drama goes on there. Anyway, that's it, everybody. Hope you're having a great long weekend, enjoying that extra day off. And of course, we will be trading the market open on Monday. Market is open, so you can join us live 8 o'clock on YouTube, or in the room if you're a member. We shall see you there. And of course, pre-market show, and then trading the market open. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone, and we shall see you hopefully Monday morning. Bye for now.